Hello, GCSE physicists. I just thought I would record a video telling you a little bit about the GCSE physics course, what you're going to be learning, and when you're going to be learning each bit, including what we're going to be starting off with now. So let's have a wee look at the specification. Okay, so GCSE physics is split into 3 units altogether. You do Unit 1 in Year 11, and that is the unit that we are going to be starting with now. Okay, so let's have a little look at the specification for it. So you can see here the topics that the Unit 1 is split up into. So we've got motion, which you have looked a little bit at this year, but also in Year 9. Force, which you've looked at a little bit in both year groups as well, 9 and 10. Density and kinetic theory is kind of new to you. Kinetic theory is just a fancy way, really, of talking about particles in things. And density, we would have talked about a fair bit whenever we were learning about convection in Year 9, if you remember back to that. Energy, you learnt a bit about in Year 8. So a lot of that is the same, but there's just a fair few more equations and things now, all the fun stuff. And then the last unit here is, the last part of Unit 1 is really completely new to you in physics anyway, and it is atomic and nuclear physics. So all about the structure of the atom, and then radioactivity and nuclear decay, and all the uses of radioactivity. So it's actually this last bit that we are going to be starting with now. So Unit 1 is worth 37.5% of your whole GCSE, and you will sit the exam for it at the end of Year 11. So this time next year, you will sit this exam, and if you do well in it, that's 37.5% of your GCSE under your belt. Happy days. Okay, let's have a wee look at the rest of it. So Unit 2, we will study this in Year 12, and you can see the topics that we've got here. So we've got waves and light, and again, that follows on nicely from stuff that you have been looking at this year in physics, all that stuff on light. Electricity, magnetism, and electromagnetism. That really was what you spent the whole of Year 8 looking at: energy, electricity, magnetism, and we touched on electromagnetism in Year 8. So you've got a bit of knowledge for it already. Obviously now at GCSE it goes into more depth, and also space physics. So Unit 2 is also worth 37.5% of your GCSE. So if you've been counting up along, that totals 75% altogether for Unit 1 and Unit 2. So Unit 3, what did I say? Unit 2, you sit the exam at the end of Year 12. Okay. Unit 3 is the practical skills, or the practical exam, and it's actually split into 2. And Part A is worth 7.5%. Part B is worth 17.5%. Part A is a physical practical that you'll do in the classroom, the same way you do practicals in class all year. It's just under exam conditions. So it's a practical. And if you see here, it says students carry out 2 pre-release practical tasks in the final year of their study. So you've got 2 different practicals and a little bit of data analysis to go along with that. Now, those 2 practicals are based on what are called prescribed practicals that SIA, the exam board, tell us we have to do with you throughout the year. So they're always based around those 9 practicals which you will have done. They're not necessarily exactly the same as them, but they are based on them. Okay, and the final year of study, so that's in Year 12, and generally we do them between January and April time. So that's only worth 7.5%. The other 17.5% of this is Booklet B, and it's a written exam paper. So just like Units 1 and 2, where they're done in the exam hall, Booklet B of Unit 3 is done in the exam hall, and it's based on practical skills. So it's a lot of data analysis and all that kind of stuff. So Unit 3, you really just learn the skills for it the whole way through GCSE physics. Unit 2, we do in Year 12, and Unit 1 we do in Year 11. Okay, so that is it. Hopefully you're looking forward to studying GCSE physics. I know me, Mr. Ross and Mrs. Turner are all looking forward to starting GCSE physics with you. So let's get going. Let's start atomic and nuclear physics. Bye.